Hi, it's Lisa with you again today. I'm in a bit of a hurry today. I really feel like scrapbooking. I don't have a huge amount of time. I've got to collect the kids within an hour, so I'm just getting a quick scrappy fix while I'm in the mood. I am playing with mainly the Make It from Cocoa Daisy today, but I've also bought in a few bits that I've got left over from the April kit as well, as you can see. So I quite like sometimes combining both kits to kind of get a bit of a mega kit, really. It's quite exciting. So I was inspired by this piece here. It's a Cocoa Daisy exclusive from Ali. Okay, on one side we've got the chevrons. I've used quite a bit of those so far, but I haven't used the checkered side yet, the side with the grids, and I quite like some of these pieces, so I've decided to cut them out, and I'm thinking I may also use that piece there. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not quite sure yet. I've cut out some photographs already, 6 little square ones. None of them are particularly special. They're just silly little things that made us laugh on our recent road trip, and none of them I would want to dedicate a whole layout to, but between them they create quite a nice little story. So I've sized them so they're quite small. They're just 2 inches by 2 inches, and they will fit quite nicely within the squares, with the idea being to be able to journal around. So at the moment that's all I know what I'm doing. I'm not quite sure what else, so we will see as it goes. I've got my white piece of cardstock underneath. I do tend to start with a piece of white card, and I am going to start by cutting out some of these squares, and I'll piece them together. So I've cut out my pieces and I've decided to go with these 6. I'm now going to stick them on. I am going to rough up the edges just a little bit. I want it quite clear that they are individual pieces and that they're not just stuck down or part of the paper. So I've just scraped down the edges a little bit. I've only put a little bit of tape on so that I can move them around to make sure that they're centre. Let's just do that a little bit. I'm thinking about painting them white a little as well. They are quite bright, so I might just tone them down ever so slightly. So I might just grab the paint in a moment. My timing for the school run isn't going so well. I've had a couple of interruptions in between whilst filming this, so I think I'm now down to half an hour, so I think I may have to do this in stages. Right, let's move that over very slightly. See what I mean about the tape? I love how this tape moves without tearing the paper or anything like that. I don't think that's perfect, but it will do. And let's do the same for these. I do love double-sided papers. I remember years ago when I first started scrapbooking, about probably 13-14 years ago, how the papers would always be one-sided, and you feel these days like you get so much more for your money. But in some ways, I don't know about you, I often end up buying 2 pieces of the same paper because I fall in love with the back as much as I do the front. So I don't think it's saving money or you're getting more for your money, but I guess there's just more choice for your money, if that makes sense. I like these colours. I do love scrapbooking with happy, vibrant colours. I love colour contrast. I think that's why I tend to use a white background a lot. I really love seeing a nice happy contrast of colours together. Right, there we go. So that's that, and then the photos will go on there. I don't know which one's going where yet, but that's that. And yeah, I'm going to add a little bit of white paint on each square. So I've decided to go with gesso. I don't want to cover up the colours completely, and gesso just, or my gesso anyway, is just a bit more transparent. I'm not going to stick in one direction. I'm going to go all over the place, as you can see. There we go. I'm not sticking just to the squares, I'm going in between as well. There we go, and across. Obviously a lot of this will be covered up with the photographs anyway. And I've cut down an old credit card in half, and that's what I'm using to apply the gesso with. Right, I think I'm nearly done. Let's just do a little bit more along there. There we go. I'm going to go and dry that now. So my gesso, I would like to say, is nice and dry. It's not. I'm slightly impatient and it's still a little bit tacky in places, but well, it's not going to do any harm. I am going to use this journal card from the Day in the Life kit. I've got a feeling it was from the April kit, but then again, it matches those colours, so it could actually be from the May kit. Sorry, so don't quote me on that. I'm not 100%. I'm going to roughly chop the edge off. That's going to get hidden anyway, so that's not the end of the world. And that is going to slide in there. Let's round off the corners with a corner punch just to tidy that up, and that will work in there. This is going to be part of my title. The rest will be revealed later. Okay, bring your own sunshine. There we go. So we're getting there. Now I am going to work on my photographs. I am going to mount each one on some white tissue paper, just a little. I like layers and I like lots of texture on my pages, so this is a nice way of adding a little bit of texture. So just roughly there. I'm not being careful of if they're centered or having the same amount of tissue around them. It's not something that's meant to look perfect, just adding a little bit of a layer and a rough edging. Obviously I've already got my whiteboard to the photographs anyway, so let's roughly cut these out. I really don't mind if it's not the same width all the way around. I'm really not into perfection when it comes to scrapbooking, that's for sure. Okay, first one's done, and that can go on there. I think I might try and contrast all the backgrounds actually for the photos. There's another one. That's an ugly photo, that one. It was some strange sights in Times Square. So this layout basically is just some silliness whilst we were away. Lots of silly stories. None of them are particularly good photographs, but they all made us laugh. And in our family we laugh lots. Not always at sensible things, but we're a very silly family, that's for sure. Very childish, and silly things make us laugh. Thankfully the children are developing the same sense of humour as us, which makes me happy, so we all laugh together a lot. Sometimes not always with each other, some quite often at each other. There we go, Aid with his cheese balls. Some of these silly things were more lost in translation type jokes, like me with the huge fanny pack. You'd have to be British to understand that one. Right, that's those. Let's clear away. And now I'm just going to pop a little bit of tape on each one and pop it in the centre. the naked cowboy in Times Square. And his cheese balls. The naked baby in Times Square. And then there's Aid by Dolly Parton. We stopped at a rest stop in Tennessee, and there was a big cardboard cutout of Dolly Parton, and as much as we love Mum, she's incredibly gullible, so we WhatsApped the photo just as we're taking it, telling her that Aid had met Dolly, and she got very excited and thought that we did actually meet Dolly, which we obviously didn't. Right, that's that done. Now I was thinking about this trim here. It really doesn't go with my page, but I'm actually thinking about painting it and using it along the bottom to then attach my title to. So I am going to, let's cut it slightly larger. Okay, I am not going to take off the sticky background. I want that left for the time being. I believe this is a trim from the Chamel Starshine range. Don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. It came with the May kit, the May Cocoa Daisy kit though, and it does all seem to match, so I believe that is to be so. Let's move that to one side. Let's get my painting board out. And I am going to start off by going over in the gesso again, just so I've got a bit of a background. I need to keep an eye on the time to make sure that the kids won't be waiting. They usually walk home anyway, but it's raining today, so I'm doing the good mummy thing. Okay, how's that? That's that. I'm going to go and dry that off and check the time. Back in a minute. So my gesso's almost dry. The tape now looks like that. Still see the flowers through. I have a really old Crafters Workshop mask here. It's a 12 by 12 mask. It's the Sunburst and incredibly popular. I get asked about this mask all the time when I'm teaching or when I'm using it on blog posts for Cocoa Daisy. Unfortunately, I don't think it's available anymore, but it's one of my favourites and I can't help but use it loads. I'm going to be using this Tim Holtz Distress Stain. This is a mustard seed. I've been buying a lot of these lately and I really love them. I've got quite a nice collection going now. So let's give that a spray, and I will go and blot that and dry that. Smooth that. Okay, quite happy with that. I'll be back again in a moment. Okay, I've dried this as much as I can. I've been using a heat gun on it and it did start smoking quite a lot. I don't know whether it's the possibly the adhesive background, I don't know. So I'm not risking that. I keep moving the heat gun, oops, but I'm just leaving it as it is now. So I'm going to put some sticky tape across the bottom here. I've decided not to try and peel off the background, although this is adhesive on the back. It's just going to be too messy. So I'm going to stick that along there, and I am going to attach my title next. I'm getting quite messy fingers here. I am going with the title and laugh, so bring your own sunshine and laugh. I absolutely love these pink paisley acetate alphabets, this alphabet range. It came in the April kit from the Cocoa Daisy kit and I've used it so much. I really, really love it, and it's one of those things I would love to try and get some more. I really enjoy using these. Now I'm finding the best way to use them is with a little bit of sticky tape. I'm going to put the letters in order. Nothing worse than when you make a mistake. Okay, so let's finish with the H. There we go. And again, I'm just using a tiny little bit of double-sided tape, but you can't actually see the tape once you stick it down. But I'm not using huge amounts, so then it gives me just the flexibility to move the letters around until I'm happy. and there. Okay, let's just add a little bit more to that one. That one wants to stick up a little bit. Now I'm going to wash my hands and go and collect the kids from school. See you in a minute. So I'm back now and I am ready to move on to the next part of this layout. I've taken this piece of paper here. This is, who's this from? Whatever is Lovely, Illustrates Faith, illustratedfaith.com. That's where this paper is from. This was in the Make It. I've just literally cut the top piece out there. I'm not going to use any more of that, so I'll pop that to one side. Ruffled up the edges again with the scissors like I did before, and I'm now going to stick that in place underneath, pointing to the word laugh. So it acts as a bit of colour on the page and also points towards the title. I've taken the piece, I don't know actually, I quite liked the flower. Yeah, I'm going to go with the flower. This was the underside of this card here, so I'm going to use that. I really like the flowers and the colour, so I'm going to add this underneath. And then this little flower came with the Make It inside one of the glassine envelopes. I'm not keen on the gingham, so actually I'm going to see if I can take this to bits and paint it. Let's see how this works out. I'm thinking of the red colour maybe. I wonder how that will work out. So I've got a little bit of the scarlet and the candy paints, so it's not completely red, almost to be inspired by the colours on the side here. Let's go over like that, a bit more pink I think. Really get in there so that all the little creases are covered. There we go. So I've dried off my flower. That's dried off really quite quickly actually. I've still got some of the paint left, the red and the pink paint, and I've got a little water here. I haven't got too much paint on my brush. I'm just going to dip it in and paint in a couple of places. I really love these little candle holders. They're tea light holders from IKEA. I use them for my paint. They hold just a nice amount of water. I'm going to paint that there. I wonder if this will be one of these things that I regret afterwards and think, why did I do that? Okay, and let's do a little bit there. Might just leave it at that for now. Couple of splashes. Put that to one side, otherwise I will keep adding more, and I don't want to at the moment. So my paint's dry, my flower's dry. I've stuck the flower on with a little PVA. I've since lost the button that I took off. I'm not quite sure where that is, but I've got these iridescent bubbles here that came with the Make It, so I'm going to see how they look instead. One of those. That will do nicely. And I'm going to have to stick down this G because it no longer sticks. Have to be careful with these plastic letters and the heat gun, they tend to bubble up a little bit. Now I'm going to use the word everyday under here. Bring your own sunshine and laugh every day. So let's use these alphabet stickers. These are also from the Chamel Starshine collection. Let's use paper piercer to pop these in place. So every day is now stuck down. I'm now going to add a little bit of stitching to my layout. I am going to take a ruler and a pencil so that I get nice straight lines. Start there. There's a few things I would take a ruler to and this for sewing is one of them. I like my lines to be straight when I'm sewing. On a layout, that's that. Okay, and then I'm going to use a paper piercer to simply pierce the holes through. This makes life so much easier. For years I struggled with a needle and it would go through my fingers and I'd end up with sores and cuts. I love my paper piercer. And I'm also going to add some stitching here. This, for example, is doing my head in. So this is going to be stitched down. Let's have one across here, 2 stitches, and let's go across the L as well. I'll do that for now and see how that goes. I might do one there as well, I think, actually. I think that could look quite fun. That's not very straight, is it? Try that again. So we want it in the centre. That's a bit better. It's not perfect, but it will do. And again, pierce the holes through. And then I just need to choose some contrasting thread to sew with. So I've been busy stitching here. I've stitched my hand all the way across and down. I've done my little stitches and I'm also stitching the end piece here, and I'm just about finished. Let's just do that last stitch. Oh, that's got caught. That's not going to work out so well, is it? Just had a little bit of knot in my thread. Let's poke that through. And that's not going to work very well. So let's stick that one in place. There we go. Okay, now I'm thinking about also stitching down the middle pieces as well. I often do the lines and the holes and then will stitch, save the sewing until the evening and do it in front of the TV, or I take it in the car with me as well and we'll sew in the car, obviously not while I'm driving. There, and then I wonder if we need one at the end to finish off. I think we should. I might leave that one and see how I feel at the end. So let's pierce those holes again and then I will sew it up. I'm nearly to the end of the sewing now. I've gone in between the photographs and I've just got a couple more stitches left to go. I've decided not to sew on that very far end. I'm going to leave that as it is. I've secured each piece of thread with just clear sticky tape, and that's the sewing done. Okay, I think I'm nearly done now. That still keeps coming undone. I might need to add a little bit more on that. I am going to start with my journaling next. I like to use these Uniball pens. They're my favourite pens to write with. You can buy them at most stationers. Ryman's, Paper Chase and Smith's, those kind of places. I'm going to journal around the edge of each photograph, telling the story of why that made us laugh. So I'm going to start doing that now. My layout's almost finished now. I've journaled around the edge of each photo, telling each individual story. I'm now going to take my pen and finish with a little bit of doodling. I did also decide to add a little bit of the green stitching underneath, just so the word everyday stands out a little bit more. So let's go around here and around each photograph. I do like a little black doodly edge. I've managed to get yellow ink over absolutely everything. My hands are covered, the board's covered, it's on the back of the paper, all from doing when I did the sunshine. It's just gone everywhere. I've just realised I've left the radio on in the background. Sorry about that. If you can hear that. I'm going to finish here and turn the radio off. Okay, my doodling's finished, and now I'm just going to add a couple of pieces of green ink. This is Maya Mist. I absolutely love this stuff. I think I might actually go for another green as well. That one's the same. Or should we go for some yellow maybe? Some Dilutions ink as well. And I do believe that layout is just about finished. I think maybe a couple of black drops. I should have some black ink in here somewhere. I couldn't find my black mist actually. I have no idea where that is, so I've added some additional paler green. So that's it, my layout is finished. Bring your own sunshine and laugh every day. I've really enjoyed creating this layout, transforming the exclusive Cocoa Daisy papers and cutting them into squares, creating a grid design, and lots of sewing and playing with paints, and using these wonderful plastic alphas again. I really enjoy those. I hope you've enjoyed this. I will take a few close-ups for you to have a look as well. Thanks for joining me again today. Bye.